Welcome back to Mind Your Biz. My name is Seth, and today's Privacy Chats episode, I'm so excited to bring back to you one of the original developers on the crypto note spec. You might know the more popular projects like Bytecoin or Bullberry. Probably Monero rings a bell, but he's since moved on and innovated in many other areas, bringing all kinds of new ideas to that code base and to the broader privacy community in the form of a project called Zano. It's my pleasure to welcome back Crypto Zoidberg. Zoidberg, how are you?
Yeah, hey everyone, I'm good. Hope everyone is good.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you making time to come back on the channel. It was a huge pleasure of mine to be able to do that first public video interview with you. Gosh, it's been 4 years now, almost 4 years ago.
Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It
Yeah,
was it was That was a lot of fun to be able to hear some of those early stories and go through your experience in building out a reference implementation of the CryptoNote spec. It's such an impressive body of work in cryptocurrency.
yeah, thank you for inviting me. It's my pleasure always.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Zoidberg, I'm going to put you on the spot just a little bit because we were chuckling a little bit off camera. Um, I normally ask my guests to credential themselves for about 30 seconds, right? To talk a little bit about their background, where they had their professional experience. And you mentioned, oh, that's my least favorite part. Don't make me talk about myself. I hate
I,
doing this. Um, so let me ask you a couple of specific questions, and we're going to workshop this a little bit because now, I mean, you're at the head of a high profile project. It has the attention of some of the earliest Bitcoin and crypto OGs in the space. Zano does. I know for a fact because I've gotten messages from some of these crypto OGs and Bitcoin OGs saying, "Hey, you should talk about Zano more. You should have Zoidberg back on your show." Um, so I know that you're at the head of this project, and people are going to want to get to know you more. So let me ask you maybe one question about yourself, and that is before cryptocurrency, before you got involved in building on the CryptoNut spec and Bytecoin and the other experiences that you had in cryptocurrency, who was Andre? Before Zoidberg, who was just Andre? What did that guy do?
uh, I think I was like a average developer, like that's thousands of people like me that's doing regular C++ job. I mean, I was working on for a long time. I was working on security products like firewalls and anti-malware. Basically, all my career before I was working in this, and then I got involved in some uh, uh, unpleasant situation with Microsoft, so I had to switch to something else. Yeah, so I decided to look into something else because this career was kind of hard for me to continue because of this story. A lot of companies was very suspicious about if it's true or not. I mean, I had a obviously I had some issues, so I started to look what else could I try. I was even trying to build something on my own, but since I'm an engineer, not a businessman, I quite fast I was like kind of out of money, and then some of my mutual friends connected me with the fintech startup project. They introduced me to this project, and they made me offer very generous offer, I have to say. And then how it's all started. They taught me about everything, and that's where it all begins. That's
Amazing.
it.
No, amazing. And then of course, for anybody who wants to know the rest of the story there, I think we covered that in the last interview, talking a little bit about those early experiences building in the blockchain ecosystem and contributing very significantly, actually, to, in my opinion, to the privacy ecosystem of cryptocurrency. I think certainly the entire Monero community, I think I think has expressed its gratitude and to you now that's become more public. Uh, so so yeah, I think that the work you've done there is very important. But
Thank you. I
yeah,
appreciate it. Thank you.
yeah. Yeah, no, it's my pleasure. I mean, so in doing these developer interviews, it's very clear when, as you mentioned, when someone is more of an engineer than a businessman, and just trying to get a quick buck, right, a quick dollar out of as opposed to contributing something that's unique, right, novel, and really solves a problem. So no, it's very cool to see what you've been building with Zano over this time. But that said, it's been years, right, since we did that initial interview. Other members of the team, right, have been on the Mind Your Biz channel. We've discussed a little bit about recent updates up to that point in the Zano ecosystem. I'm excited to hear how things have been going so far in the Zano ecosystem, and where you've seen some challenges, and maybe where you've overcome those challenges and delivered new milestones.
Um, well, if we speak about what's happening since the last interview, it's been like ages for me, even though it was like just 4 years, but it was absolutely a lot of things happened to Zana in terms of technology improvements, in terms of vision of what we do in Zana. Because if at the beginning we was just starting with some, let's try to do something practical, easy to use, that could be useful for business, but we didn't have such a long-term vision what we're building. Because like we was, it's, I mean, it's hard, even though a lot of people say they have a vision, but it's hard in such industry like crypto, where every year and or every cycle everything changes so dramatically. So yeah, and I think last few years we finally got the vision where we want to move with Zana. We wanted to move with uh, building somehow tokenization, but a few years ago we didn't even know how to make it possible. And the first thing that we have to overcome is to make the hidden amounts, and to make this we have to come up somehow with a private proof of stake, which was considered as impossible before. And that was a long research. We did like a few, for example, we started one research with a researcher, and this research went to nowhere. And we like told ourselves, okay, this is not going anywhere. Let's switch to some. Let's try another way. And then we tried another way, and then yeah, Val came up with brilliant ideas. We started to bounce these ideas. We started to um, see if it could be made. Then as you probably know, we asked Ko. He's a, I don't know if he's a formerly lead developer of Monero now, but he is one of the brightest developers right now at Monero. And we involved him as a reviewer at the beginning. Then he started to contribute to the paper, and he became a co-author. So he helped us to build this Zarkanum proof of stake model that let us to introduce hidden amounts and preserve keep the proof of stake algorithm with hidden amounts. That was like a number one part of the miracle that I call it miracle. And as a second part, we come up with a really good model. We believe it's a good model of confidential asset that we can introduce the tokenization inside Zana with absolutely hidden everything, amounts, what is sent, everything is mixed with each other. So it's the having confidential set even contribute to privacy of native transfer. So it's like win-win from everywhere. And yeah, that's what was happening since the last time. And now then the last year we've been under a lot of stress. I think it's even 1 year and a half. Yeah, we almost 2 years ago we started actual coding of Zarkanum. It took a lot of time. And yeah, and then months ago we finally did the release, and a few weeks ago we had a hard fork itself. So yeah, now we are on the next phase. We're facing another challenges right now. Yeah, that's what was happening.
Okay, amazing. So it sounds like, though, I mean, in a very literal sense, because of that hard fork, Zano is it's a whole new chain today versus 2 months ago. In a sense,
It would be actually way easier if we could make it a whole new chain, but we have to preserve all the backward capability, all everything. So it's kind of new and old chain and new chain all connected together. I mean, every project that exists in the area for a few years, they have to do it. It's a lot of headache. It's a pain to do this all the stuff, because whatever you do new, you have to maintain the backward capability, and you have to also make sure the network is not split because it's decentralized. So that's a lot of problems. Yeah, but it is what it is. We have,
right?
I mean, from technology perspective, it's a whole new, I would say it's whole new technology. Yeah, it's very much refactor it and renew it. Yeah.
Phenomenal. And then, as far as getting with the proof of stake paradigm, what kind of challenges did that present in hard forking to roll out the latest version of Zano?
I mean, I mean, originally it was hard to invent proof of stake on top of hidden amounts, but it's not that was just hidden amounts or a proof of stake. We had so many things re-implemented. We had to do this because of hidden amounts, because of new rules, network rules that we had. So yeah, it was the challenges was just to keep everything tied together and do not make some terrible mistakes that could collapse the whole network, which is very easy to do if you do the low level development. I mean, low level uh, if you work on the layer one, if you build your own chain, it's very very dangerous. So it's kind of because of this, it's kind of stressful. Whatever mistakes you do, it's really hard to fix, because decentralized, you cannot just, even if you see the host with the problems, we can see because he's dropping connections. That means that the consensus problem happened to this host, but we cannot like message the guy and told him, hey, please, can you update the latest version? No, we have to fix it somehow else, somewhere, somehow, to figure out how to do it, how to maintain the network stakes so it stay healthy. And we did a lot of tests before the hard fork, before the release. We did a lot of the last fig before release, I think I relaunched the test network like 8 or 10 times, because we wanted to be prepared for everything, and we didn't. I mean, we was think that we fixed everything that we knew, but the day the hard fork, we faced few issues, few like bumps on the road. And yeah, sometimes it's even like I sometimes don't want to remember these days because it's kind of stressful.
Got it. Well, I apologize for bringing it up, but I mean, these are the kinds of
I
things
mean,
that I think
no,
they
no
show
problem.
competence, right, with your team. The fact that you did overcome some of these difficulties, and it didn't, ultimately bury the project, right? There are, I mean, the blockchain building, the whole ecosystem. I mean, there's a graveyard full of projects, right, that have had issues before, and that they ultimately didn't
Yeah,
overcome. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. Most of the projects, I think, die because for there is so many reasons why projects die in the crypto. But yeah, uh, a lot of that projects. That's true.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So with this hard fork, then you mentioned that there was a little bit of an issue then getting updates pushed across for consensus. That's why I was curious about with proof of stake. I mean, and pardon my ignorance, with running consensus in Zano, like that's why I thought there could potentially be like that would be maybe the sticking point as you're executing a hard fork.
Oh, sorry, what is the question?
About that's why I was just clarifying that the reason I asked specifically about the hard fork and executing a hard fork is because this is with proof of stake, at least coming from a proof of work paradigm, right? With proof of stake, it seems like upgrading consensus across the network, it seems like that would be maybe a little bit more tricky. You'd have to just, I guess, notify everybody that they need to do a client update, right? It's not no other fancy updates.
It's I mean, my perception that good projects, that do innovation, they do constant hard forking. They do it's like on a regular basis. And even Douglas asked me that they had issues that some people question: is the project decentralized if they often do the hard forks? But for me, from my perspective, it's a healthy thing. If the project doing the hard fork constantly, that means that they do innovation, they do improvement. That's a healthy sign for me.
Sure.
And the hard forking itself is quite I mean, everybody do the hard forks, and that's quite understandable paradigm, and it's not a problem itself, but it doesn't matter whenever you change the network rules, something that called as network rules, hard rules. There is soft rules, and the hard rules you have. It's called hard fork, right? And we just had so many things got changed, and it was the complication was only because the behavior was little bit it's not about the proof of stake itself, because before we also had the proof of stake, but the protocol changed in so many different ways, and this could be so many different situations. And the problems that we faced, it actually was not the biggest problem, was unexpected, because it was not related to consensus. It led to a problem on the consensus level, but it was happened. The first problem happened because we simply forgot about mining pools, the proof of work mining pools. We didn't update the native library for the pool, and because of that, there was a first bump on after the hard fork. And the second problem we figured out, that was we checked everything. That the transaction that goes before the hard fork, they have one like a version, and after hard fork they have a second version. So the after hard fork, the network should not work with the old transaction. But the problem was that the few seconds before the network hit the hard fork block, someone sent transaction like a few seconds before, and the transaction managed to relay it over the network. And that we didn't test. It was obviously it could happen. We didn't just figure out that we had to test this scenario. And this we had also this situation with all transaction kind of made a problem for the networks. But I mean, it's not a problem with consensus. Luckily, we didn't make fundamental mistakes. That's really great. I hope we didn't make it, because yeah, you never know. But yeah, that was a kind of nonsense problems that we couldn't expect that happened, but we managed to fix it quite quick.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, it's that. I mean, and that's just it. Based on the experience that I've had around the Zano team, that's not a shock to me. That the moment you were able to identify the problems, that you were able to patch them or address them in some meaningful way fast.
Yeah, we did a few quick updates. We had to do it. I mean, it was probably quite annoying for exchanges, because during the first few days we asked them to update their clients like 3 times, I think. Yes, 3 times, and soon we will update them once again, because we have a bunch of another fixes. But I probably from their perspective, it's, oh man, that's, guys, you bring so many troubles. But from our perspective, we overcome all problems that was headache. Now we still have a few little issues. We just want to polish it to make it shining and to make everything work smooth. So we preparing uh, another hotfix in a few days, and there will be big update. I mean, I think it's in a week or 2 weeks. That's gonna be interface improvement, and it's gonna be introduction of browser extension that will help to work with assets. So it's going to be a lot of fun in the future. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, what I'd like to do then is I'd like to show off just for now the site itself, zono.org. For anybody who doesn't, if you're on this video, you probably already clicked on the link, or you're already a member of the community. And if you are, leave a comment below. Say something, polite, right, to Zoidberg and myself. Say something about Zono. Tell us what you think about it. Do you love it? Great. Tell us. Do you really, really, really dislike it? You can tell us that too down in a comment. This is a good time for the audience to get involved, though. But this is the new website. And Zoidberg, when I opened this up, you were like, "Wow, I don't even think I've seen this version of the website yet." The team is clearly so hard at work on the different sides of the project and the product itself, right? But this is just one side of it, the website. But as far as places that you'd like for the community to gather, where the best places for the community to come and ask questions if people are curious about Zono? I've got the website open now, but what would you prefer?
I always in Discord. I mean, the whole team is in Discord. We use Discord for primary communication inside team and with our community. But also we presented in Twitter. I'm not active Twitter user. I read it. I sometimes go through it, but I post something not often. But our community manager and marketing, I don't know what is his official position right now, Mr. Quips. He's handling Twitter, and he's also looking into everything in other social network. But Twitter and the Discord is a major things. I think.
Okay, amazing. And then I've also got in the description of this video for anybody who's watching, I've got the full links. It's just links.zono.org, and that will link you through to every one of their websites, community pages, and then listings on, there you go, CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, and then additional bounties. Speaking of which, the kinds of bounties that are typical with Zono, what does the team need most these days?
I'm probably not the right person to ask about things that not related to development.
Fair. Hey.
Because Mr. Quips know, they doing a lot of activity connected to creating videos, explanation videos, some marketing activity. I actually don't know much about this. Pavel is handling this part too.
Okay.
Regarding in terms of development, I don't know. We don't have much people in the developers community, so we
Sure.
do most of the things by our team or some remote contributors. But we have a plenty of tickets in a GitHub. If anyone is willing to contribute from development perspective, everybody is welcome. Look into our issues in a GitHub and feel free to fix whatever you like. And
Okay.
we do bounties for example, if someone find issues, of course we do bounties. Depends from how big is the issue. For example, when we just launched Dana, there was a guy who came to our community. Maxwell Sanchez, I think, from other projects, and he pointed to me to quite a problem with consensus that we fix it with the proof of stake, and we paid some bounty for that, of course. Of course we do, but we don't pay bounty. We have some guys that come to us every week and say we can DDoS your website. This is an issue. We don't consider these guys as contributors. And yeah,
Yeah, no, they're mafia. It's that's just weird. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So okay, well, yeah, appreciate you walking through some of the things that the team is looking for there, and yeah, I realize that yeah, more of our conversation should be focused on development. It sounds like the most recent updates, if anyone is in the audience and is already a Zano supporter, right, and user, right, if you're part of the user base, it sounds like you should already be up to date on that client update. But what are some things that people who are fans of Zano can look forward to in the coming months? Recording this in April 2024.
Well, that's a good question. Actually, there was quite a lot of excitement about having confidential assets, about having tokens in a privacy chain. It's kind of a first thing. I know we know that Fira also working on this thing. It's not ready yet, but they building also very good technology. But we happens to be the first that was able to release it, and a lot of people was really excited. But now I think they're wondering what's next, because okay, you can make an assets, you can create these tokens, but what's next? And that's actually a very good question, because having tokens itself is not super cool, because what you're going to do with this, someone have to create some useful things, and that's what our work will be directed for the next year or few years. I think that's going to be major direction. We will be working on building ecosystem and infrastructure around this platform, because this is just the beginning, and there is a lot of work. And the most important part, I see as the most important part, is to build a bridge between EVM networks like Ethereum or any other project that use the same model, and we want to build the bridge that will be safe to use without weakness of stolen money. So it's one of the projects. It's called Confidential Layer. It's gonna be using a decentralized approach for custody of the assets. So it's gonna be a big group of users that part of this bridge, part of the validators, and they will be controlled together these assets, including Zana custody. So we created little trick in Zana there for minting and burning, so they can create this. They can collectively create this signature all together with Shamir's shared secret, and they can collectively custody, but there is no private key exist. So only they, yeah, it's not exist. So you cannot steal actual money. You cannot steal the key. Only this group of people can collectively create the signature to sign transaction. So and it's going to be working same way for Ethereum transaction. It's way easier because they have a very like probably primitive is not right word. A very simple signature for transaction, and as a privacy coins has a very sophisticated signature, so you cannot actually sign using Shamir shared secret transaction privacy transaction, but we have a little trick that will let us to control assets through this signature. So that's going to be normal. Yeah. So
Very
I'm
cool.
diving too much in technical details, but yeah, we created some special things that could let us to do this distributed decentralized signatures in Zana. So
That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I mean,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, so from a practical perspective, I mean, people who are so just break down like for me a day-to-day thing. People who work in cryptocurrency or who already have good exposure to cryptocurrencies, we're used to some of these things as a primitive, right? Multi-signature vaults, right? In other
yes,
ecosystems.
you can think about this like some form of multi-signature. Yeah, it's very simple explanation. Yeah, it's kind of multi-signature, but based on yeah, cryptography. Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's
that's
amazing. Well,
pretty much it.
well, and that, and I mean, like with Shamir secret sharing, the idea that that's more. I mean, you're creating it. It's not multi-sig in the sense that you require n of n or n of whatever
Yeah,
signatures as much as yeah you're fractionalizing the cryptographic primitive itself, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, very cool. I mean, I don't know why. Just to me, this seems like it's so typical of the way that you and your team would think. Also, where it's like, well, it's very pragmatic actually, and it does make more sense as rather than adding additional signatures, figuring out how can we do something that is much more streamlined, like lower friction, right? More, yeah,
yeah, yeah. That's yeah, and also I believe that the simplest thing you do that's more chances it's going to be reliable. I mean,
Yes.
it's quite obvious. So we try where it's possible. We do as simple as we can. And this approach, it's not. It was first used by I think RenBTC project,
Hmm.
which now not exist. I think they bought uh, by this exchange. Uh,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
too bad. It's really too bad. I've only ever read good reviews of the Ren BTC project or the
yeah,
tokenization, yeah, through the Ren project of all the other UTXO systems. But yeah,
yeah. So we kind of look it into their paper and thought it's a very practical approach. So we try to use for the custody, for the bridging. We try to use this approach and see how it works, because the bridging is very important. Without this, it will be really hard to bring liquidity to Zana, and that will create another weakness point because people will start to make custodial bridges. It will bring a risk to users because they could be scammed. So yeah, let's see how it works. But anyway, the direction is that we want to build as much as possible ecosystem around Zana, and probably maybe other projects, other privacy project could be included in this confidential layer bridge, Monera or Firo or some other project. So it's even the whole picture is even bigger than Zana itself.
amazing. No, amazing. Love hearing that. As far as potential future plans for bridges, and then making these more reliably decentralized bridges as you go, or improving the protocols to bridge into the Zono ecosystem, are there any plans to and pardon me for even bringing it up, especially on a day like today where we've had downtime on Solana, but like bridging into SVM or using existing tooling to use the EVM bridge to then bridge into any of the Cosmos Hub ecosystem, so that you now have
Yeah,
IBC as a primitive to swap between that ecosystem.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's we're not married to Ethereum. We just will try to bring as much project as possible. I mean, it's as much as possible layer one protocols. That's the idea. That's how we think would be to build a value around this thing, that you can make cross chain transactions in a safe way.
Okay, amazing. So as it is right now, is there any kind of a roadmap specifically to add some of these other bridges, or with the EVM bridging? Is there an approximate roadmap or delivery time? Not to add pressure to the team. I know these things, like I
Oh
can
no,
say
no,
it
no.
very easily, but it's much harder to do. Oh,
I don't think we can announce the roadmap about confidential layer right now.
hmm.
We still do the internal tests. We was overwhelmed with the Zana release, and now we will be also dedicate quite some time for improving there, because we have another team working on this project, and we also part of this team, but helping them. But it's a kind of neighboring project that work very close to us. So I don't think I'm not in a position, I think, to speak on behalf of this project. I'm just sharing information that there is a project that and that's idea of the project, that's what we want to do it, because it's gonna be mutual beneficial and for Zana and for other projects. But on behalf of this project, I think it's gonna be said something else or someone else.
Okay, okay, got it. Can I just ask, just informally, are you aware of Tari, and what are your feelings on the Tari project?
It's unfortunately I'm not familiar with the project. Not
Okay,
really.
okay, got
I
it.
should I should check it probably whenever I have a free time. I will definitely check it.
Okay, well, don't wait till you have free time. It'll never happen. but but yeah, I'm just curious. Okay, and I don't know a whole lot about it either. I was only curious to know if you were aware of it and had any comparison points at all, um, to with the Zana project, because yeah, as I understand it, it's meant to be tokenization L1, but not very clear which problems exactly they're solving in the same way that Zano is solving problems right now. It's especially now building bridges for additional liquidity into the ecosystem. But okay, great. In that case, then I want to be respectful of your time. You've been very, very generous with it. I definitely appreciate you coming back on to the Mind Your Biz channel. If we can ask maybe as a summary question, which question did I not ask that I should have asked?
I don't know.
Okay, then what do you think would be very urgent and important for the audience to know about Zano and what you're working on before we wrap up the interview?
I think very important to follow our Twitter or Discord to update that latest version if we have an urgent update. That's I think most important.
Okay.
I don't know from other perspective. I don't know.
Okay. Amazing. Well, the links are in the description, and that makes sense. Zoidberg, thank you so much again for coming back onto the channel. Folks, do please go follow up on the Zano project. Just as a follow-up for these privacy interviews, did I ask for payment in order for us to do this interview?
Sorry, what?
Did I at any point ask to be paid for us to do this interview?
Did you ask to be paid for this interview? I think no.
I didn't. Yeah, that's a spoiler.
No.
Yeah. And your team didn't offer payment either. I just wanted to be very clear and public about that. That when it comes to privacy projects, that this for me is it's mission driven. This is very important to me. So that's why the work you've been doing. That's why I view it as being so important to attempt to build new things in this space. So yeah, with that, for the audience's benefit, I just wanted them to know that there was no hidden incentive, right? No hidden agenda. Yeah, other than just talking to people who are building what I think will be viewed in the history books as one of the most important phases of monetary fintech history, really ever. This is very, very
Hopefully.
exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate. Um, I appreciate it a lot. Thanks
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. No, appreciate you again. Remember, audience, to stay private and mind your biz.